Part 2. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 12. His shop is adjacent to the vegetable and fruit shop next door, but the business has never been as good as next door. The rent here is high, and almost all of the money he earns goes into the rent. He thought countless times about simply getting rid of the store, but he couldn't find anyone willing to take over his goods. "I need a lot, can you give me some discount?" Seeing that the store owner looked embarrassed, Len Ning asked slightly nervously. She doesn't know much about negotiating prices, but there's only so much money, and she has to do it even if she doesn't know how to bargain. "How much do you want?" The boss was quite impatient. I don't believe Len Ning's words at all. What annoys him the most is this kind of customer who doesn't buy much and still wants to bargain with himself. "Let's buy something worth more than 10,000 yuan," Len Ning replied awkwardly. Is the owner of this shop crazy? Or do you still have a business and don't want to do it? The store owner was stunned. "At least 30% off then," he said. Then he walked quickly towards Len Ning. After taking a few steps, his expression became a little weird again. "I really want more than 10,000 yuan of goods. I have all the money." Seeing that the other party did not believe him, Len Ning simply took out the soft girl coins in his pocket. When the shop owner saw the soft girl coins, his eyes instantly lit up. "Okay. See what you need, and I'll install it for you," then he said quickly. There is a lot of backlog in his store. If he can dispose of more than 10,000 yuan today, he can breathe a sigh of relief. Soybeans, mung beans, and the like that can germinate quickly and eat sprouts are more suitable. Well, it costs about 7,000 yuan. Wheat, lettuce, cabbage, and condiments all add up to 2,000 yuan. With 1,000 yuan left, you can help me with some other seeds, Len Ning said. Although she had awakened the wood power in advance, and even the wood mutation power, the level of the power was still too low. There is still a long way to go before reaching the 5th level advanced level of the previous life. The more seeds you can store, the better. It's a pity that she has limited funds and no space for jade. Buying too many things will only become a burden in the end. Anyway, the supplies purchased today are enough to last until the big brother comes to pick them up. "Okay, I'll pack it for you right away," the store owner said excitedly. "Can we deliver it after wrapping it up?" "The address is in the resort," Len Ning then asked. The shop owner thought for a while. "Okay. We can arrange it later then," he agreed. "Thank you, boss," Len Ning quickly thanked him. The store owner was stunned and scratched his head in embarrassment. "It should be then," he replied with a smile. He had a bad attitude just now, and this little girl was still so polite. He was a little embarrassed. "Little girl, I've calculated the vegetable prices for you at this time." The boss next door appeared at the door of the seed shop. "Oh, just come," Len Ning hurriedly replied. "This is the deposit." "Boss, please help me arrange it first." "I'll come over in an hour to pay the balance." Len Ning directly gave the boss a stack of soft girl coins. "Wait a minute." The boss took over and quickly put the Ruin Mi coins on the banknote detector. Len Ning smiled and stood there waiting. She can understand the store owner's approach. "I'll charge you 1,000," the store owner muttered, and then wrote a note to Len Ning. "You can feel at ease if you have a note. Okay, little girl, go and do your work. I'll help you distribute the goods," the store owner said and gave the note to Len Ning. "Thank you, boss." Len Ning accepted the note and then walked towards the owner of the vegetable and fruit shop in front of the store. "Little girl, you bought so many seeds. How many people do you need to give away?" the vegetable and fruit shop owner asked curiously. "I saw a little cutie talking about space, and there will be space." The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 13. This little girl is really beyond appearances. "As long as I can give it away after all," Len Ning replied with a smile, but did not answer the vegetable and fruit shop owner's question. Seeing that the other party had no intention of talking, the owner of the vegetable and fruit shop was too embarrassed to continue asking. The two of them entered the store, and the owner of the vegetable and fruit store handed Len Ning a list. Listed above are exactly the vegetables and fruits he prepared for Len Ning. There are a lot of categories, and the total amount is more than 5,000 yuan. Look, if you need more, I can add more here. The owner of the vegetable and fruit shop looked at Len Ning eagerly. After seeing Len Ning also spending money next door, the owner of the vegetable and fruit shop now completely believes in Len Ning's purchasing power and believes that it will not have any impact if she buys more goods. No, that's all. Len Ning returned the order to the vegetable and fruit shop owner. Then he picked up a pen and wrote down the address of his apartment. This is the address. Can you send it to me now? After writing, Len Ning handed the address to the vegetable and fruit shop owner. Sure. The driver just came back, I asked him to wait. The vegetable and fruit shop owner replied. Okay. I just want to go back with the goods. Then I'll call the driver over now, the vegetable and fruit shop owner said, walking towards the outside of the shop. After a while, a young boy followed him back. These are the goods, be gentle when handling them, the owner of the vegetable and fruit shop said to the young man. Okay, the young man moved the goods without saying a word. Len Ning thanked the shop owner and followed the young man out. It didn't take long for the young man to load the goods. Let's go, let's set off now, the young man said to Len Ning. Yeah, Len Ning got into the passenger seat. This is a van, just enough to hold the cargo. I heard from Boss Zhang that you bought a lot of goods at the house next door. The young man drove the car and struck up a conversation with Len Ning. Seeing that the other party is a beautiful girl, her face is still a little red. Yeah, Len Ning replied. Can you dash? Upon hearing this, the young man became a little excited. Well, I actually work part-time at sports car, can you let me help you pull goods? Len Ning looked at the young man, the boss said he would deliver it for me. The young man's face suddenly became disappointed. But apart from these two places, I still have some goods to pick up from the supermarket over there. If you don't mind dash. No, I don't mind, the young man responded quickly. Then help me today. I'll give you 1,000 yuan in labor fees, Len Ning said. It just so happens that they are short of manpower, so having more than one person helping out is not a problem. Okay, the young man agreed happily. Soon, the van arrived at the apartment downstairs. The young man was chatting with Len Ning while moving things. Not long after, Len Ning already knew the other party's situation. This young man's name is Zhang Peng. He is a sophomore student at University A. His family lives near the resort. Because his family is not well off, he has to work part-time during holidays. His brother was originally running the van, but his brother injured his leg 2 days ago and is now resting at home, so he has been driving the van for the past 2 days. Going upstairs, Len Ning found that the door to the suite was open, and Lei Mu was packing up the messy goods in the living room. Ning Ning is back. Lei's mother was a little irritated. When she saw her daughter coming back, a smile instantly appeared on her face. Yeah, Len Ning returned Lei's mother's smile. Then he asked Zhang Peng behind him to bring the things in. This is dash. Lei's mother looked a little shocked. Ning Ning, are you buying something again? Then he looked at Len Ning anxiously. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kge Now. Chapter 14. Len Ning pulled Lei Mu to the sofa aside and sat down. Now we have found someone to help. Mom, sit down and Uncle Liang and I will handle the rest. This dash. Seeing Zhang Peng constantly moving things into the house, Lei's mother felt a little anxious. Mom, I have my own reasons for doing these things. I'll explain it to you when I'm done. Okay, Len Ning comforted Lei's mother. What she experienced was so fantastical that no one would believe it if she told it directly. According to my mother's temperament, she would probably think that she was crazy and make her worry. Time was urgent now, and she had no time to explain. Ning Ning Lei's mother was really anxious when she saw this. "Mom, why don't you go to the study and read for a while? We will be busy here soon. There are still a lot of goods to come, and the living room will be filled up soon." Lei's mother glanced at Len Ning worriedly. "Okay," she finally replied reluctantly. Then he got up and walked slowly to the study. After sending Lei's mother into the study, Len Ning breathed a sigh of relief. "After sorting out my mood, I went to the living room. I roughly divided the living room into areas, and then started to stock the goods with Zhang Peng. After a while, Uncle Liang came back. "Miss, let me do it." Seeing Len Ning doing it himself, Uncle Liang hurried forward. "It's okay, more people go faster." Len Ning hurriedly coded a box of goods, then stood up and looked at Uncle Liang. "Don't the supermarkets deliver goods? It was said that there was a shortage of manpower, so we only agreed to send it downstairs," Uncle Liang replied. This was something he only agreed to after asking his boss for a long time. "A large batch of goods will be delivered soon. At that time, I have to ask Miss to go downstairs and watch, and I will move the goods," Uncle Liang continued. Len Ning nodded. "I've also ordered a batch of goods and I'm going to pick them up. You take a look first and I'll come back as soon as I go." Uncle Liang was shocked. Still in stock? But he was not qualified to ask about his master's affairs. "Okay then," he responded. "Zhang Peng, take me to the seed store to settle the bill first. Then come back and help Uncle Liang move the goods." Len Ning then looked at Zhang Peng. "Oh, okay." Zhang Peng hurriedly packed the goods in his hand, and then walked towards Len Ning. Then Len Ning left with Zhang Peng. After going to the seed store to pay, the two returned to the apartment. Len Ning looked after the goods, while Uncle Liang and Zhang Peng were responsible for transporting and stacking the goods. It wasn't until 12:30 noon that they finished processing the goods. Lei's mother had already prepared lunch and was waiting for everyone to finish their work. "Thank you for your hard work, let's stay and eat together," Len Ning said to Zhang Peng. Uncle Liang is old, so today it all depends on Zhang Peng's efforts. "Yes. Thank you, Miss Len." Zhang Peng scratched his head in embarrassment and agreed. After going upstairs, Len Ning discovered that the huge living room was already filled with supplies. The three of them had eaten these things for more than 10 days, even if they had eaten them for a year and a half, they would have been enough. "Thank you for your hard work, everyone, come and eat," Lei Mu greeted with a smile. In order to take good care of her daughter, she spent a lot of time learning to cook. The aunts at home are not as good at craftsmanship as she is now. Good. The group went to wash their hands and started eating. Lei's mother met Zhang Peng for the first time and asked him many questions while talking and laughing. After the meal, Len Ning gave Zhang Peng the wages he had promised before, and was then pulled into the room by Lei Mu. "Ning Ning, is Xiao Zheng really the worker you hired?" Lei's mother asked, looking at Len Ning with a smirk. "That kid is unambiguous and polite. He is also a top student in university. It's a good one." Lei's mother, Ning Ning, is too introverted and has autism. Falling in love may be able to alleviate it. Even if you don't fall in love, you can have many friends. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kge Now. Chapter 15. Len Ning's tone was a little helpless. "I'm just a worker, I just met him this morning." She is only 17 years old now. For children of this age, don't their parents hope they don't fall in love prematurely? Look at her mother's eyes. Oh, she almost got goosebumps. Xiao Zheng is a good kid. What a pity. Lei's mother muttered and almost gave Len Ning to Lei Dao. "Mom, stop talking nonsense." Len Ning was really embarrassed. "Okay. No more talking," Lei Mu said with a smile. "Tell me about those things in the living room. Why did you buy them, Lei Mu's expression suddenly became serious. Len Ning's face suddenly became calm. Then he took Lei's mother to sit down by the bed. I had a dream last night. Immediately afterwards, Len Ning told Lei's mother what happened after the end of the world. Listening to Len Ning's description, Lei's mother's heart was lifted high. Although I knew that what my daughter said would definitely not happen, I was still frightened when I heard it. Ning Ning, that was just a dream. Holding Len Ning's hand, Lei's mother felt Len Ning's mood swings. Holding back the fear in his heart, he comforted his daughter. Len Ning raised a pale smile at the corner of his mouth. The dream is too real. And there is indeed a problem with the network until now this morning. What if the end of the world really comes? Lei Mu's heart trembled. There is a problem with the network. Yes, all the merchants in the morning only accepted cash, and she couldn't contact her son. After returning to the apartment, she read for a while in the study. She originally wanted to watch TV, but found that there was no signal. Today, with the rapid development of network technology, there is indeed something wrong with this. It would be good if nothing happens. I'm just making preparations. Len Ning patted the back of Lei Mu's hand. Lei Mu shuddered and came back to her senses from her random thoughts. You are just under too much pressure to study and have random thoughts. When your elder brother comes back, ask him to make arrangements for your mother to take you to see a doctor. Then he said to Len Ning. My daughter often had nightmares when she first came home, and it didn't get better until she was in junior high school. Unexpectedly, only a few years later, I would have nightmares again. When I woke up, I still dreamed of doing so many things. Okay, Len Ning replied helplessly, in order to reassure Lei's mother. She knew that the end of the world would definitely come, but her mother would not believe it now. In the afternoon, Lei's mother didn't want to stay in the house and insisted on taking Len Ning out to relax. Len Ning had no choice but to agree to go to the farm with Lei Mu. Uncle Liang drove, and several people arrived quickly. Entering the farm, there are many people here. Look at how fresh those tomatoes are, let's pick a few back, Lei Mu said to Len Ning. Okay, Len Ning responded. As soon as I walked to the tomato area with the basket, I heard a terrifying scream. Someone is crazy. Help. Then there was a second sound. Help. Len Ning hurriedly looked in the direction of the sound. I saw a group of people running towards their direction. Behind the panicked crowd, there seemed to be dozens of zombies covered in blood. They have red eyes and pale faces, and they run after humans angrily. The two running slowly were caught by the two zombies at the front. After that, he put it down and started chewing. Blood spurted out quickly, and the scene was particularly horrifying. To make matters worse, Len Ning discovered that at the end of his sight, a piece of white mist was rapidly surging towards this direction. At this moment, Lei's mother was so frightened that she was stunned on the spot. Mom, let's go quickly. Len Ning's expression changed, and he threw away the basket in his hand, then took the basket in Lei Mu's hand and threw it away. Then he dragged Lei Mu and ran towards the farm exit. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 16. Ning Ning, is that a zombie? Lei Mu asked in horror as she ran after Len Ning. Those crazy people were exactly like Ning Ning and the zombies she described. Could Ning Ning's dream be true? Is the end of the world really coming? Mom, don't be afraid, I will protect you, Len Ning said quickly. As he was talking, Len Ning saw Uncle Liang at the entrance of the farm, about to come in. At this time, there was already a crowd at the farm entrance fence. People fled outside one after another, but the existence of the access control restricted the speed of their escape. People at the back squeezed to the front, making it harder for people in the front to get out. Many people were yelling because they were hurt by being hit. As soon as Uncle Liang entered the farm, the people who were anxious to escape had other thoughts and jumped over the fence from the entrance and ran out. No matter whether it was the entrance or the exit, no one used the door control anymore. They all climbed over the fence and escaped quickly. "Miss, Madam, are you okay?" Uncle Liang quickly ran to Len Ning and Lei's mother. "It's okay. Something happened inside, we have to go back quickly," Len Ning said to Uncle Liang in a deep voice. "Okay." Uncle Liang also realized the seriousness of the situation and said quickly. At this moment, 2 fast zombies were chasing after him. Less than 10 meters away from them, a screaming middle-aged woman was grabbed and pushed to the ground. Then as she screamed in terror, the zombie bit her throat. After a while, the woman lost her voice. Lei Mu turned pale with fright, her legs went weak and she almost fell down. Fortunately, Len Ning supported her. "Ning Ning, that, zombies eat people." Lei's mother did not dare to continue watching the horrifying scene and stammered to Len Ning. "Don't be afraid, Mom, I'm here." Len Ning quickly comforted Lei's mother. "Uncle Liang, you take mother away, and I will come to the rear," Len Ning then said to Uncle Liang. "Miss, don't waste time, do as I say," Len Ning said solemnly, with irrefutable momentum in his tone. Then, a dark vine instantly appeared out of thin air in Len Ning's hand. Lei's mother and Uncle Liang were both shocked. "Take Mom out and wait for me in the car. I'll be here in a moment." Len Ning didn't have time to explain and said directly to Uncle Liang. "Okay." After taking a look at the vine in Len Ning's hand, Uncle Liang finally agreed. Ning Ning, Lei's mother, was still a little worried. "Don't worry, Mom, I can protect myself." After saying that, Len Ning stopped looking at Lei Mu, took the vine and turned towards the zombies. There were too many people at the exit of the farm, and my mother was weak and would definitely not be able to get over those people. Fortunately, there were not many zombies on the farm. As long as she killed the zombies that came after her, her mother and Uncle Liang would have time to escape. The zombie closest to the 3 of them took a few bites of the person it killed just now, and then went crazy and continued to chase the living person. Seeing Len Ning running towards him, he was extremely excited. "GG, GG!" The zombie shouted excitedly and rushed towards Len Ning. Lei's mother's heart shrank and she didn't dare to look. When he opened his eyes again, what he saw was the scene of his daughter piercing the zombie's brain with vines. "Ah! Killing! Killing!" Someone saw the scene and thought Len Ning was killing someone. Now the people running for their lives were even more panicked, and there was already a stampede at the exit. "No, our Ning Ning didn't kill anyone. She killed zombies," Lei's mother hurriedly explained to Len Ning in a loud voice. In just a short time, Len Ning had already killed the second zombie. "There is a murderous maniac, run away." You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kge Now. Chapter 17. Uncle Liang, take Mom away quickly, Len Ning shouted loudly while slashing zombies with vines. "Madam, don't distract the young lady. Let's go out and wait." Uncle Liang hurriedly said to Lei Mu. Lei's mother tried hard to suppress the fear in her heart, and finally came to her senses. "Yes, I can't distract Ning Ning." "Yes, madam, come with me quickly," Uncle Liang said hurriedly when he saw Lei's mother finally calmed down. "Okay, let's go," Mother Lei said and handed her arm to Uncle Liang. In the past few decades, she had never seen such a terrifying scene today, and she really couldn't bear it. Uncle Liang hurriedly led Lei Mu toward the exit. Len Ning took the time to look back at Lei's mother and Uncle Liang's leaving figures, feeling a little relieved. Without Lei's mother present, Len Ning no longer had any worries about killing zombies. Quickly activate his wood power, letting the vines move according to his wishes. Kill the enemy with one move, move quickly and efficiently. Soon, the dozen or so zombies that were chasing him were killed one by Len Ning. Len Ning finally breathed a sigh of relief as the zombie threat was gone for the time being. Turn back and walk toward the exit. At this time, most of the people at the exit had already escaped. Uncle Liang also took Lei's mother out safely, and the two of them were standing outside waiting for her. In addition to Lei's mother and Uncle Liang, there were actually many people who stayed behind after going out and watched the excitement at the exit. There are also many people holding up their mobile phones to take videos. She is a murderer. She killed more than a dozen people. I don't know who said it. We can't let her go. Someone has already gone to the security guard to call the police. The police will be here soon, said a man who thought he had a sense of justice. Yes, everyone, catch her and don't let her escape, another man said. As the saying goes, there is strength in numbers, and more than one person has to act bravely. In addition, these people know that the security guards of the resort will come soon, and people are emboldened. These people thought to themselves that after all, the other party was just a little girl, much easier to control than the crazy people just now. They completely forgot that it was this little girl who had just killed a dozen zombies by herself. You are talking nonsense. Ning Ning is not a murderer, she killed zombies. They are not human beings, Lei's mother quickly defended Len Ning. What zombies? Have you watched too many TV series? Is the murderer in your family? A woman watching the excitement said to Lei Mu. Control the people first. So many people have died. Letting the murderer out will definitely harm society, a young man followed. Then he took 2 steps forward and joined the ranks that were preparing to restrain Len Ning. Ning Ning is not the murderer. Stop framing her, Lei's mother was so angry that she said in a loud voice. What's your relationship with the murderer? Don't even think about running away. Don't be a terrorist family, the young woman said sarcastically. Then she hurriedly retreated 1 meter away from Lei Mu, as if she was afraid that Lei Mu would suddenly attack her. Shut up, Len Ning had a sullen face and glanced at everyone displeased, especially the woman who was extremely rude to her mother. The woman was frightened by Len Ning's eyes and took 2 steps back unconsciously. The poisonous fog that can infect people into zombies has spread from the farm. If you don't want to die, you should go indoors and hide before coming out, Len Ning said solemnly. This is human nature. It was clear that she had saved these people just now, but they wanted to arrest her. You, what rumors are you making? Let me tell you, someone has already gone to the security guard to call the police. The police will come soon. You can't run away, the young man shouted at Len Ning. The woman who was threatened by Len Ning's eyes just now was his mother. As a son, he naturally wanted to help his mother avenge her. There is a cute message saying that the internet is disconnected. How to call the police? This is talking about asking security to go to the police, not calling the police. Even if the internet is cut off, there are still people at the police station. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Ki Now. Chapter 18. Len Ning raised his eyes and looked at the rude young man. The dozen zombies came over just now and killed many people. Those corpses will soon turn into zombies. If you don't leave, the zombies will come first before the poisonous fog comes, Len Ning continued. For a moment, everyone began to panic. This little girl doesn't look like she's lying. Some of them did see the fog spreading this way. Stop trying to confuse people here and take advantage of the opportunity to escape. We won't let you go. Seeing everyone's frightened expressions and some of them wanting to retreat, the young man hurriedly shouted loudly. Suddenly a scream sounded from the crowd. A middle-aged woman attacks the man next to her. In full view of everyone, he gnawed the flesh on the man's arm. The middle-aged woman's eyes were bloodshot and her face was bluish-white, just like those crazy people on the farm before. The scene exploded and people scattered and ran away. Someone is sick again, someone shouted in horror. Len Ning's eyes turned cold, and he jumped directly over the fence at the exit. After a few big steps, he arrived in front of the zombies. When the vines stretch out from your hands, you must be ready to take action. What are you going to do? Don't hurt my mother, a young woman suddenly stood up. Everyone, catch this murderer quickly, don't let her kill more people, the young man who just spoke loudly said. A flash of displeasure flashed in Len Ning's eyes, and his eyes swept over everyone's faces one by one. No one dared to step forward. Ah, help! Suddenly, the zombie abandoned the man it had just bitten, got up and bit the young woman who was defending her. It was bitten on the neck, and blood spurted out and splashed far away. Mom! The young woman's eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. Her mother was chewing the meat from her neck. The crowd immediately exploded. Some people saw that something was wrong and evacuated. Don't you like to catch murderers? Are you going to catch them? Len Ning looked at the young man who just yelled at him and glanced at the bloodthirsty and flesh-eating zombies. While talking, the young woman had died. And the zombie has already attacked another person. If there were still people who could barely keep calm just to save face, now everyone is frightened and starting to run for their lives. Even those who just clamored to act bravely are no exception. You, please kill her. The young man didn't have time to escape because he was talking to Len Ning. Now he has become the person closest to the zombies and the next target of the zombies' attack. Save my son, the young man's mother was frightened and shouted to Len Ning. Len Ning is very close to her son now. As long as she takes action, her son will be fine. Len Ning curled up his lips. I'm a murderer, so I have such good intentions. With that said, he bypassed the young man and walked quickly towards Lei's mother and Uncle Liang. When the young man saw Len Ning refusing to save him, he immediately panicked. Seeing a roadblock not far away, I quickly ran to pick up the roadblock. Next, they started fighting with zombies. The young man's mother was so frightened that she hurriedly called for help. But everyone was focused on running for their lives, and no one paid attention to her. Mom, are you okay? Len Ning ran to Lei's mother in a few steps. It's okay, Ning Ning, where are you? Lei's mother held Len Ning's hand and looked up and down Len Ning's body with her eyes and hands. I'm fine. The poisonous fog will come soon. Let's go back to the apartment quickly, Len Ning hurriedly said to Lei Mu. Uncle Liang, go drive. Then he said to Uncle Liang. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 19. Okay, Uncle Liang knew that the situation was urgent and replied quickly. Then, the three of them walked quickly towards the car not far away. After getting in the car, Len Ning looked through the passenger rear-view mirror and saw that the young man had successfully killed the zombie that attacked him. As if still immersed in the confusion of becoming a murderer, he was leaning against the fence tiredly at this moment. When his mother saw that her son had been saved, the fear and nervousness on her face softened slightly. Unfortunately, within a second, her expression turned frightened again. Because the first man attacked by a zombie and the zombie's daughter had already stood up tremblingly, as if they had turned into zombies. At the same time, a large number of zombies arrived at the farm's exit. Then came the screams of the two people. At the same time, Uncle Liang started the car and the black car sped towards the apartment. Len Ning closed his eyes and let himself relax. All the way back, Uncle Liang and Mother Lei's hearts were squeezed tightly. Although there were countless doubts in their hearts, no one asked Len Ning. Arriving at the downstairs of the apartment, the three of them got out of the car and hurried back to the rented house. After entering the door, Len Ning helped Lei's mother sit down on the sofa, and he also sat next to her. After a long time, Lei Mu slowly stopped trembling and came back to her senses to look at Len Ning, who was looking at her worriedly. Ning Ning! Lei's mother shouted and cried immediately. Then he hugged Len Ning tightly. Len Ning hurriedly hugged Lei's mother back and patted her shoulder to comfort her. Mom, I'm fine. It's all over. We are safe now. What on earth is going on? Lei's mother was so emotional that she couldn't control her tears. Len Ning let go of Lei Mu and let her lean on his shoulder. "Uncle Liang, please sit down," then he said to Uncle Liang, who was standing aside. Uncle Liang responded, brought a stool from a short distance away and sat down. What happened today was so scary, and the young lady's reaction was also very unusual. She might actually know something. When Uncle Liang sat down, Len Ning said, "Those people who were attacking people madly just now are zombies, they are not human beings." Lei's mother and Uncle Liang listened quietly without interrupting. "The end of the world actually started 3 days ago. It's just because of the special geographical environment of City A, and the even more special location of this resort, that communication failures and the invasion of poisonous fog have delayed it. The fog we saw on the farm just now is unusual. It contains a high concentration of zombie viruses. Once a normal person inhales such toxic fog for a long time, the probability of being infected by the zombie virus and mutating is higher than 50%. The first mutated people on the farm were probably caused by inhaling poisonous mist for a long time." Lei's mother's heart trembled and she quickly grabbed Len Ning's hand. "Is there any cure for this disease?" Uncle Liang asked. Len Ning shook his head. "It can't be cured. Those who turned into zombies are not sick, but already dead." Uncle Liang was shocked. "Died? How can you still move freely after being dead? Could it be a living ghost?" Thinking of the terrifying appearance and behavior of zombies, Uncle Liang's heart trembled. "That thing eats people, isn't it just a living ghost? The zombie virus will kill people quickly after infecting them. Almost immediately afterwards, the virus will control the person's brain center and turn the person into a walking zombie hungry for flesh and blood." Len Ning sighed, "Zombies don't have heartbeats, they are just infected by the virus. It's just a body dominated by biology." Not long after the apocalypse in the previous life, the government announced this conclusion, and then legalized the killing of zombies, encouraging people to voluntarily eliminate zombies to protect themselves. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Ki Now. Chapter 20. "So, those, are really living ghosts," Uncle Liang said with some horror. Len Ning couldn't help but laugh. "Uncle Liang, if you think this is easy to understand, you can think so." Uncle Liang's face turned pale instantly. "The living ghosts have come to live in the human world, what about the living people? However, we don't need to be so afraid. Although they are ghosts, they are far less powerful and clever than real ghosts. General zombies have very low intelligence, not as good as our 3 or 4-year-old human children. Their eyesight and hearing are about the same as humans, and their actions are driven by bloodthirsty instincts. You have also seen that although they are not tired, they move relatively slowly. As long as people are braver and use the right method, it is not difficult to kill them. I saw you, miss, hitting the zombie's head with a stick," Uncle Liang said excitedly as if he had remembered something. "But, it's really strange. Miss, where did that stick come from? I didn't see her putting it away or hiding it, and it disappeared inexplicably. When the lady took out the stick, he didn't see where she took it out. Moreover, I don't know if it was his imagination, but he seemed to see that the lady's stick could automatically shrink instantly. When the lady was killing zombies, the stick seemed to be driven to grow automatically, and it suddenly penetrated the heads of those living ghosts. That stick is really powerful, even sharper than a knife. And when the lady pulled the stick out of the living ghost's head, she didn't seem to use any force, as if the stick shortened itself. Yeah. The only way to kill a zombie is to poke its head," Len Ning said. Uncle Liang nodded, feeling a little relieved. "Since those living ghosts have weaknesses, they are not so scary. Ning Ning, do you think our city will fall soon?" Lei's mother finally regained her composure and got up from Len Ning's shoulders. It's not just City A, it's the entire country of China, and even the entire Blue Star world, Len Ning said seriously. This is a catastrophe for all mankind. Humanity will fall from the top of the food chain and live a difficult life surrounded by zombies. Then what should we do? Lei Mu looked at Len Ning. From this morning on, my daughter seemed to be a different person, doing things neatly and decisively. She is no longer the weakling who needs to hide under her wings, but a strong supporter who can support her. But she knew that Ning Ning was still her Ning Ning and was still her most beloved little daughter. Stay in the apartment until the poisonous fog dissipates, Len Ning said solemnly. These poisonous fog will last for a few days, and more people will mutate into zombies. The outside will become more and more dangerous. Fortunately, we have prepared sufficient supplies. Even if we stay here for a few months, there will be no problem. Len Ning looked at the mountains of supplies in the living room with a smile on his face. Lei's mother looked at the supplies and felt relieved. After a while, the communication will be restored for a while. When we contact the big brother, we will wait for him to pick us up, Len Ning continued. Hearing her daughter talk about her son, Lei's mother felt a lot more at ease. The son is very capable. As long as he comes, they will be able to escape safely. There is certainly a reason for Lei Mu's confidence in Thunder. Before her husband, the Lei family was mostly a black business. After her husband married her, he began to slowly consider turning off his business. Unfortunately, before the work was done, someone set up a trap and killed him. Some cuties said that the fog is poisonous and not safe at home. Let's popularize science here. Fog is not air. Fog is formed when the temperature drops and the water vapor contained in the air condenses into small water droplets floating in the air close to the ground. It contains a large number of water droplets, suspended matter, and microorganisms. Warm reminder, don't stay in the fog for a long time on foggy days. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 21. In that accident, not only her husband but also Ning Ning's parents died. Later, her 17-year-old son Lei Lei inherited his father's business and stabilized the overall situation of the Lei family in a short period of time. And found out the murderer who planned to kill his father. What happened next was simple, and the murderer paid a heavy price. The son made Lei's bigger and stronger, and even became a leading company in City A. The son inherited his father's legacy, streamlined the family business and became a serious businessman. Nowadays, few people would associate Lei's business with the underworld. In short, their Lei is like a dragon or a phoenix among people. He is the one who can support her and her daughter. That's good. Let's stay here and wait for the thunder to come, Lei Mu said, patting the back of Len Ning's hand. With the idea in hand, the three of them felt relieved. Miss, how do you know so much? After understanding the current situation, Uncle Liang began to ask about Len Ning. Lei Mu also looked at Len Ning. It was just a dream, and all the scenes in the dream came true, Len Ning said. Mother Lei's expression softened slightly. Her daughter had told her about this before. There are too many unknown and unsolved things in this world, and it is not completely impossible to predict the future through dreams. They should feel lucky. If their daughter hadn't prepared in advance, they would be in a difficult situation now. Uncle Liang nodded. So that's it? That poisonous fog, is it really that scary? After a moment, Uncle Liang looked at Len Ning again. Yeah, Len Ning nodded. Uncle Liang's face became sad. I can't get through the phone either. I don't know if my elder brother or the others, he is a widower, his wife has been dead for several years, and he has no children. His eldest brother's family is the only family left. Although he and his eldest brother had rarely traveled around in recent years, they still remembered him and would talk on the phone from time to time. He has always cared about his nieces and nephews, and he has contributed a lot to their marriages. When he gets old, he will definitely go back to be next to his elder brother. Now that such a disaster has occurred, I hope they are all safe. It's too risky to go out now. It's best not to go out. In a few days, the poisonous fog will dissipate. If Uncle Liang wants to go home, we won't stop you, Len Ning said. Uncle Liang is a man with a lot of strength, so staying here will definitely help. But she won't force it. At this time, who doesn't want to stay with their loved ones? Uncle Liang immediately looked at Len Ning. Well, Lao Liang, you can leave if you want, Lei's mother also said. Uncle Liang looked at Lei Mu again. I felt a little moved in my heart. In the past few years that he has been working at Lei's family, his wife's family has treated him very well. When I did something wrong before, I never saw them scold me once. Now that the young master is away, there are only two women, the madam and the young lady. If he leaves, what if they run into trouble? I'll wait until the young master comes before I leave, Uncle Liang said with a sudden thought. You can't be a person without conscience. Back then, he went bankrupt and lost his job to pay for his wife's medical expenses. He almost died under the young master's will when he was drunk. If the Lei family hadn't taken him in and given him a job, he wouldn't have been able to regain his confidence in life and get out of those gloomy days. Now that the wife and young lady are in trouble, he can't just leave. Lei Mu looked at Len Ning. Len Ning nodded at her. That's fine. Once the poisonous fog dissipates and communications are restored, let's contact your family first, then Lei Mu said. Thank you, madam. Seeing that Lei's mother still did not force him to stay at this time, Uncle Liang was very moved. He made up his mind that before the young master came back, he must protect his wife and young lady.